Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is my Divine Realm Extra Hard Lithuania mission, and I brought in Tidus, Warrior of Light, Setzer, with a Cloud of Darkness friend. And with this boss, you have to understand, or have a good understanding of the mechanics. These bosses, or this boss, which has two forms, is gonna attack regardless of what you do. And you have to be ready to tank that attack. So you'll see here, instantaneous turn rate after five turns from your team here. So once it ends up taking that turn, you are gonna have to make sure that you have a tank, which for me I think Warrior of Light is the best one in this scenario, because it's gonna do like a counter attack, and it's gonna do, even if you have like Terra's LD and you're using Terra, it's still gonna trigger it. The only time it will not trigger is if like I guess if you have like some high rate or high turn rate actions. So I think that's where, like, you know, Tidus comes in. So Tidus comes in because if he ends up, if you move somebody's turn all the way up, I guess that doesn't count as a turn for the boss. So you'll see here that it says it's turn 4 on the count, but then if it goes into turn 5, then that's where it's gonna do its, I believe, its attack. So actually here it did it there. It's called Fulgent Rain, and it's the same attack that he uses when his recast ability is up. And if the boss takes 3 turns, it'll, I think, completely fill up that recast bar. And it's also going to trigger at 79%, 49%, and it's going to be a group Brave attack, Brave HP attack, and it's going to gain Brave again. It's going to remove all of your non-frame buffs, which I don't think I really have any. I think most of the time I put buffs on the party. I think they're all silver framed anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But another thing that it does when the recast ability goes off is that it's going to give the boss a red aura, and then it's also going to double the Brave damage and HP damage. Aside from that, it's also going to prevent your characters from recovering HP for 2 boss actions. So you have to let the boss take 2 turns in order for you to recover, or have the ability to recover HP. So all in all, starting off, you just have to make sure you're ready for the counter attack that the boss is going to do once you take 5 turns. Then with that, you again, you just got to make sure you can tank that. Once you do that, that's going to be a repeated cycle, and you're not going to be able to heal. You're going to take more Brave damage, more HP damage, and that's for 2. That's until the boss takes 2 consecutive turns. Now, with Setzer in the party, you don't really need to worry about that. You'll see here that even then, Warrior of Light with the plus version of the attack, it's not going to do anything to you. And technically, the boss really, I don't think, should take any turns, because you can keep delaying him, and as long as you have the shields up, you should be good to go. The only time you're going to have some issues is if Warrior of Light shield gets depleted. Other than that, you should be okay. And then it's going to use Chaotic Deluge, and it reduces the party's Brave to 0. And then it's going to double Shinru's Brave. What else does it do? And then it happens as a free action after the boss attacks twice with the red aura. And then the red aura will go away. So here's Tidal Wave. Again, does nothing to the party because of Warrior of Light. And then afterwards, that's it. Should be pretty easy. The HP is only 4 million, so it's not bad at all. I feel like Setzer is almost a must here. It's gonna make things so much easier just for the second wave. One, it's gonna let the first wave hit pretty hard. As you can see, Tidus is not even he's like halfway through max damage. So just having Setzer in there is going to help get through this guy fairly quickly. And then when he goes into the second form is when you're going to start having maybe some issues. You could use, I believe, you could use El Narsh, because you can use Terror, or he's not immune to Terror. He's not immune, I think, to Confuse. So you could do that. I think he is immune to HP, Attack Disable. He is immune to Freeze. But first boss is not bad whatsoever. The second boss. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The first thing you got to consider is that he's also going to attack after. He's also going to do an automatic counterattack after a certain amount of attacks that your party does, and I think it's also 5. So you'll see that when the match starts, as soon as I make the first move here, I'm gonna do it with Jack's Call. He takes some damage, but it's gonna say instantaneous turn rate after 5 consecutive turns from your team. Now you cannot delay him or knock him back. You'll see that he has that yellow aura. He's gonna go through 4 phases, or 4 auras. First one is yellow, second one's purple, third one's green, last one's blue. As he goes up in the auras, when he starts getting to blues, we're gonna start having some trouble with this guy. Yellow, not a bad. It's not a bad place to be. With the yellow one, he's immune to knockback and delay. Not a big deal. You can still dish out a bunch of damage. You should be good to go. Make sure you have Warrior of Light shield here. So just make sure you're replenishing everybody's shield with Shining Shield, and then you have his LD up as well. And you should have no issues with the boss. When he goes into purple, it's going to disable healing and brave recovery on the party. So then that's where Warrior of Light is not going to really do almost any damage. That's the part you have to be careful for. When he hits green, all his hits are going to be guaranteed, and it's going to heal his HP based on the amount of brave damage dealt. So that's green is a place you don't want him to really be in, and let him take turns. If he's not taking turns, then he's not healing HP, then not a big deal. You can delay him, you can knock him back, you can still do a lot of damage. And here, his attack does nothing. Now he's in purple. So now that he's in purple, I can't heal, can't recover HP or anything like that. And then every time that he acts, unless he's like paralyzed and sleeping, confused, things like that, he's going to switch into the next aura. So in order to get him out of an aura, you just have to let him attack. And then once he gets into the blue phase, once he gets into the blue phase, he's going to go back into yellow and then repeats the cycle from that point on. He's also going to go back to yellow when he's at 84%. So like right there, I had him, he went down to 84, it's going to reset him back to blue. Then he's going to also do another reset at 69%. So right now the goal here is to make sure that I have my shields up, I'm just doing as much damage, he's debuffed, and trying to get him down to about 69%. If he was to take these next 2 turns, he's going to go to purple on the first attack, and then he's going to go to green on the second attack. So as long as he's not attacking, then you're good to go. And then aside from that, if you let his recast ability go off, that is what's going to make the Lufenia orb appear and disappear. Here he attacks with Screech, then he's going to go into, again, the purple because he took an attack. Again, with his recast ability, Errant Calamity, it's going to make the Lufenia orb appear. And when the recast gauge goes off again, and it's going to make the Lufenia orb go away. The one thing you cannot do when he does the recast ability is you cannot summon for 2 turns. Now the summon blessing does remain, so like, Ifrit's 30% attack is still going to be there, but you're not going to be able to summon Ifrit. Then if he ends up doing, when he does Intimidate, and I believe Intimidate Plus, which he does at that 84 and 69% HP threshold, which is when he also doesn't the attack, I think it's Trinity, and then goes back to yellow, he's also going to use Intimidate and Intimidate Plus. And that's going to inflict attack down, defense down, initial brave down, max brave down, and that's going to be for the entire party. So see, since he's using Trinity, he's gonna, or I had so many consecutive turns, he's gonna go ahead and do his attack, which can hurt pretty bad. And then what's gonna end up happening too is on that, when he does the Intimidate Plus, that's when it resets him back to yellow. And then when he does Trinity, he recovers from break and then does the Brave HP attack, and that's going to be that automatic attack after 5 consecutive instant actions. You really don't, as long as you have, I think, Warrior of Light, you honestly don't have anything to worry about. I think you could bring in almost any team that you want of damage dealers. I don't see an issue with that. The only issue is if you don't bring in, let's say, Core or Setzer, towards the very end, he's going to gain so much defense that you're only going to hit him for one damage each one. Now, that's where the fight's going to be a big issue. I think, yeah, you're going through this whole fight, and if you don't have, anybody that has the rainbow attacks or lets your party hit for rainbow, you're going to be pulling your hair out, because although the boss doesn't have that high of stats, he's going to gain some pretty big buffs as it goes on, and it's going to triple, I think, like his defense and things like that. And so you're still going to need, obviously, defense down. I mean, the more defense down, the better, but whenever the orb is active, the Lufenia orb, you're not going to do any damage, I think, to the boss. So you got to make sure that you kind of don't let that go off. If you can delay, then delay him as much as possible. That way he cannot have his recast ability go off. And then the last thing about the boss is the time that you want to be summoning with the boss is going to be when he's in the green aura and the orb is not active. Again, when the orb is active, he's going to take a significantly less damage because his defenses are going to be so high. And so that's where I think that's where the main issue comes in. As you can see, I'm never really in danger. Just the fact that I'm able to continuously put up my shields, attack with Tidus, stuff like that, and then heal with Warrior of Light, which, again, I'll say it again, I think he's one of the best tanks you can bring to this fight. I think he should be fine. And the reason I don't think Bosch works here is because his since they have multi HP dumping moves, Bosch, I think, only takes the first hit, and then if he gets hit again, then he dies, and then you're done. Where, so you see there, his turn rate became instantaneous, and then now he is going to use his Sumerian attack, and then from that point on, he's going to go and change stance here. His recast gauge is filled up. We definitely don't want him to be attacking, and I guess you can say activating the orb. So we're going to try to finish him here as soon as possible, and it should be done. He is in the green right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my summon here and just go off on him. This should take care of him. I think if he was to have done, or if I would have let his recast gauge, I guess, go off, then I would have been into some trouble. But Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty simple fight with Warrior of Light. He makes it very, very easy. Having any kind of having delayers as well, or any kind of turn manipulation helps. Although he does get the instant turn rate with Warrior of Light, he's not going to do any damage. So again, Bosch I don't think works here, just because the multi HP dumps is going to kill him. And then I'm not sure if Gladio's going to be able to dish out enough damage, but I don't know if they also mitigate some of those defenses. But it wasn't too bad. You have to clear within 100 turns. I think it is. I think it cleared it like in 30 something, 37 turns. So it wasn't bad. It's extra hard, but thought it was pretty simple, especially with Setzer. So good luck. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.